What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Leo back here with another video. This is my new series called In the News. I'll be reporting anything in like YouTube news or real news or anything that's really trendy or whatever, and I'm gonna put in my opinions. I'm gonna state all the facts and all of that sort of crap. Tell everyone what's going on, be completely unbiased in that, and then I'll state my opinions. Yeah. So this is the first episode. I'll probably do it once a week, and I'll be like, in the news this week, and yeah, whatever. Okay, today's story is about the recent killings of black people and cops. The two murders by police of Philando Castile and Alton Sterling is my first thing that I'm going to talk about. There's a lot of stories on them, and you've probably heard a lot about them, so I won't go into them. I will briefly explain what happened. Philando Castile was the man in his car where the cop shot him, and straight afterwards his wife started live streaming on Facebook. His girlfriend... Oh, it was his girlfriend, sorry, not his wife. His daughter was also in the car, and I find it weird how a cop would think that a black guy, he told the officer, hey, just letting you know, I have a firearm on me, I'm allowed to carry it, like I have the documents or whatever, I'm legally allowed to carry it, and he was told to reach for his wallet, and as he was reaching for it, he must have said like, oh, just letting you know, I've got a firearm on me, like, to not spook him, right? If the cop then sees that, he's gonna get jumpy. So he tried to let him know, and he's reaching for his wallet at the same time. This is what I believe happened, and I find it weird how that sent to the cop that he was going to try and shoot him. I don't know why the cop thought that because he said he had a gun, like he was legally allowed to carry it, that he was reaching for it. Why would he has his kid in the car and his girlfriend? Why would he? Why there's no way that he would have done that. It's mind-boggling how he thought that those two things added up. There's no way that with his kid and his girlfriend in the car that he was going to pull out a gun after telling the officer. Okay. It would be possible if he tried to quickly grab his gun and shoot at the cop. It would be messed up because he had his kid and his girlfriend in the car. But there's no way in hell someone goes, oh, just letting you know, I am carrying a firearm. It's legal though. As he's reaching for his wallet, there's no way in hell he's saying that, and with his wife and child in the car, and then he's going to try and shoot him. Like that, he wouldn't try and shoot the cop. He just wouldn't. So the cop shot him in the arm, and in the video you actually see him pass away, which is horrible. It's very graphic, so if you are gonna watch it, you can find it anywhere if you just search up their names. If you are gonna watch it, it is extremely graphic. I wouldn't watch it like just any age, I guess. I wouldn't watch it, just listen to the news, I guess. The other guy was Alton Sterling. He was outside a small convenience store selling CDs. He was allowed to sell CDs there. The guy in the store, the owner, said he could. He was reported to have a gun, which he did. I don't know if he was licensed to carry a gun. I'm sure he was. But especially because America's gun laws are shit. He was reported to have a gun. They went there and the video starts and they threw him on the ground, and after a couple of seconds they shoot him, basically. And from the first camera angle that came in, the cop said, the police department said, what you don't see from this angle is that he tried to go for his gun. And then a new angle came out, a new video from the person who owned the convenience store, which was much better quality and all that. It was much closer, and it shows that basically the cops were lying. He was pinned down by two policemen, and somehow he was going for his gun in his right pocket. I don't believe that. if cops have two guns pointing at you, they're on top of you with their knees on you and everything, pointing guns at your chest, would you go for your gun? I wouldn't. I don't want to get shot. And there's no way he was going for his gun. There's no way. It's just not possible. And then you think, well, that's two views. You could just get the police body cams, because they would show what happened, right? They're on their chest. It would show if he went for his gun or not. Well, apparently, according to the police department, and probably from those two cops, those cameras came dislodged in the ordeal. And I'm going to show you something, and I want you to tell me if this guy did enough physical jumping around and all this sort of crap for his camera to come dislodged. I have to stop the video there because that is where he does get shot. As you can see, that cop did nothing for that camera to have become dislodged. Nothing. It's not put on with sticky tape. It's probably a clip in the pocket. I'll put a picture of a couple of the body cams up now, and you tell me whether you think these things can come off that easily. I think it's bullshit. Their cameras did not come dislodged, and even still, if they did, they should release the video, even if it's of concrete. You know, even if it shows it flying off onto concrete, they should release the videos, because then they're not lying. Then it shows that they weren't lying, and then they did come dislodged. What I think happened was, I think they deleted it, or they didn't film it, which is completely messed up. I'm sure it's against the law. And shit like this should not happen. I'll link this site down below. It shows that 97% of black people that were shot in 2015, 97% of them were let go. Nothing happened to them. Every single one of them, or 97% of them, sorry, were let go. And only 3% had something happened to them. I don't know exactly what happened to them, but only 3% something happened to them, which is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. 100 something black people in 2015, unarmed, were killed by police. And this shouldn't be happening. Cops that fear black people, because I'm sure that's what it is. It's either racism, it's fear, or it's trigger happy cops. It's one of the three. And there are a lot of good cops out there. There are a lot of good cops. There's this video I'll show you right now. This cop basically screaming at a camera at other cops that are killing people.
I'm here because I wanted to make a difference. But how dare you stand next to me in the same uniform and murder somebody? How dare you? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. So why don't we just keep it real? If you're that officer that know good and well you got a God complex, you're afraid of people that don't look like you, you have no business in that uniform. Take it off. If you're afraid to go and talk to an African-American female or male, or a Mexican male or female, because they're not white like you, take the uniform off. You have no business being a police officer. Because there's many of us that would give our life for anybody. And we took this oath and we meant it.
She is screaming. And there are a lot of good cops out there. There are a lot of good cops. I say 97% of cops are good cops. But there's the 3% of cops that are trigger happy, or they're racist, or they're scared of people with black skin. And it's not on. They shouldn't be wearing uniforms if they're like that. Hey, moving on. So those two things happened, and that was horrible. But then in Dallas, a black man shot 5 white cops at a peaceful protest against police killing people, and predominantly black people. 5 police officers were shot, which almost undoes all of it, all of what could have happened, what could have been changed, because now what the cops are going to be saying is, do you now see why we are scared? Because 5 of them have been killed, people are going to say, do you now see why we are scared? We're scared, you know? That's what they're going to be saying, and I guarantee it, that's what they're going to be saying. Which still isn't on. That's bullshit. You shouldn't be... It's hard for me to get it out in words. My frustration and my anger of why these cops are killing people, and why then people think that killing cops is then the answer to the problem. It doesn't make any sense to me why they're killing people. But yeah, that's basically the news, and you know, of course, my thoughts go out to all of those families that have been affected. Also, a couple of things I want to bring up is, what does the NSA think of this, right? Because their answer to everything is more guns. But these 2 men were basically killed because they had guns. Now, I understand that they're allowed to have guns. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be allowed to carry guns, and I think that them carrying guns isn't a reason for them to be killed, especially in America with their Second Amendment. They're allowed to. Do I think the Second Amendment's bullshit? Of course I do. I'm Australian. Every Australian thinks it's bullshit. No offense to anyone out there. I think the world is better without guns. I think it would work a lot better without guns. The last thing I want to talk about is the hashtag that is very popular at the moment, hashtag Black Lives Matter. Now, if you think about it, it's a great hashtag. You know, everyone's supporting what is happening in the news, and it's great. Except, if you think about it, when you're saying hashtag Black Lives Matter, it's sort of negatively putting the police in a bad place, right? So when you're saying hashtag Black Lives Matter, you may not be directly thinking this, but you sort of sound like you're saying that police lives don't matter, right? Because you support one thing or another, right? So you say you're trying to be good, but it also sort of sounds bad. And in the last 3 days, more police have died than innocent black people have died, right? I don't like saying the word black. I don't want to generalize them, but the more civilians are being killed by cops than cops have been killed by civilians, right? So, and there is this hashtag that is Police Lives Matter, but it's so less reported on, and it's so less popular than hashtag Black Lives Matter, and I don't think that's okay. And when you say hashtag Police Lives Matter, it's like you're going against, it's like you're saying that, oh, what happened in the news, oh, they must have done something against the police or something. So, both of them are they're pretty good, but they're also pretty bad, right? You're saying a good message, but behind it, you're not saying it, but it also can have a negative effect. There's also something on Twitter that is hashtag Police Lives Matter More, and I disagree with that too. Police lives don't matter more than a civilian's life matter, okay? I do agree that it is sort of hypocritical that people are saying that people say that all of the police are bad, you know, police are bad, and it's not true, because guess who were the first ones to run in and protect protesters at the Dallas shooting? It was the police. They ran in. That's why I don't hate police. People generalize it as police, and I know I said in this video, I may have made it sound like I generalized it as police, but police aren't the problem. What's the problem are people that wear the police uniform, right? So, it's not the police that are bad. The police are great. the police protect us. The police, you know, catch thieves and robbers and, you know, criminals. But when you have a criminal is basically just a person in society that goes crazy or has bad intentions, right? So any one of those civilians can become a police officer, right? They can act good and say nice things, but when they get out there, they can be a bad person, right? So just because they're in a blue uniform doesn't mean that they're a good guy, right? They can also be a bad guy. But most police are good people. They want to make change, like that woman I showed you before. She says multiple times in that video that she became a police officer because she wanted to see the change that didn't happen when she was a child. So yes, Black Lives Matter, and yes, police lives matter. And yes, all other races and religions and other groups of people, their lives matter too, but you can't put all of them in a tweet, right? You can't put, you know, police lives matter, black lives matter, white lives matter, you know, Asian lives matter, and other races or whatever. You can't put all of them in a Twitter thing because you're going to run out of characters. So what I think a better hashtag will be hashtag lives matter, right? Because everyone's life matters. Some people do horrible things, like murder a lot of people, and I don't think that they deserve to have their life taken from them. I think it is a worse punishment for them to sit in a prison for the rest of their life, because I feel like that would do more damage to them mentally. And I know that sort of sounds cruel, but if they've killed a whole bunch of people, you know, that's a consequence. But I don't think hashtag Black Lives Matter and hashtag Police Lives Matter or hashtag Police Lives Matter More or hashtag Black Lives Matter More, none of them should be a hashtag. What I think the hashtag should be is hashtag Lives Matter, right? Because lives matter, full stop, whether it's white lives or black lives or police lives or Asian lives or any lives, they all matter. And I think we need to stop hating on each other. As soon as, you know, one rogue person in a police uniform kills someone, everyone starts to hate the police. So I think what we need to do is just hashtag lives matter. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed.